chapter 29, verse 13. Okay, Noam, b'vakasha, please read it. And then you'll read the other one, and then Norai will read. That's right. Yud Gimel. Vilo. Okay. You got it right. You're doing right. I'll do the corrections. You got it perfect. All right. So he says, Moshe says to the Jewish people that Hashem is saying, not with you alone am I making the covenant and this oath, but go on. This is Noam Traumer. Get Asher, right? What's the next word? Get it. Yes, no. Yes, no. Okay, you read beautifully. You have any Israeli parents? No. Well, you read like an Israeli. You read so beautifully, Noam. Also, the other Noam. You guys are solid education, solid Hebrew. That's a very important thing. You know, I was thinking, I'm just going to go a little bit of a tangent. I saw an article this past week that AirPods are now able to translate, or maybe very soon, if somebody's speaking and you put in the AirPods, it could translate for you. So then I started thinking, so you know what you could do? People could be in synagogue and they'll be davening and they won't know what the Torah is saying, but it'll translate the Torah for them. They just put their AirPods in and it'll translate for them. And the words of the prayers will automatically be translated. But then I started thinking, but it's not going to help on Shabbos because you can't wear the AirPods on Shabbos. But then I started thinking, no, because it'll be implanted into our brains and it'll be automatic. So that'll be perfect. So then it'll be perfect. You won't even need to go to school to learn Hebrew. Okay. Whoever is standing here with us today, and the ones who are not with us today. Okay, I'll read the Rashi. That Hashem made the covenant with the generation. We know what a covenant is. What's a covenant? I'm using these words, but I don't know if you know what they are. It's a deal, but it's more than a deal. Yeah. A deal is an agreement. It's an agreement. It's a treaty. So Hashem made a treaty with the generation in the wilderness that they will be the people and Hashem will be their God. But you might think, okay, so why am I bound with it? So we say no. Hashem, it says, this treaty is not only with those who are here today, but those who are not here today, also the generations in the future. But it doesn't mean like just the people who stayed home that day and didn't go to the assembly. No, it means me and you. We're part of this treaty that God made with Moshe. We have no option. You can become a Jew, but you cannot leave the Jew. You have no choice. You have no choice. You have no choice. It's it. Like you can't say, I want to be a Wiccan, I want to be a Buddhist, I want to be a Muslim or Christian. You're born a Jew, you have to be a Jew. That's it. Sorry. That's not politically correct to say like that. You know, everybody wants a choice today. You have no choice. This is what you have to do. You always have a choice about how you're going to live, meaning to say you're choosing, but by Jewish law, you have no choice. Okay. No lie. Oh, this is a boy who's Israeli. Go. Yeah, you're reading correctly. The Kerev. Because you know, first of all, you read that excellent. All right, excellent. Tadover Ivrit. Oh, beautiful. Have you been to Israel, Noam? Yeah. You? Okay. So, because you know, Asher Yashavnu, that we lived in the land of Egypt, that Asher Avarnu B'Kerav HaGoyim, and that we walked amongst the nations, Asher Avartem. You know that. Rashi said, okay, the next pasuk, Mr. Shurkin. Have to go by last names because you have the same. There's three ends. These are the three ends. End to the three. Go. Yeah. Go on. Mr. Dobson, are you going bowling now? Don't even show your face here if you get under 200. Don't even show your face. Don't even show your face if you come under 200. We don't accept that. Okay, go on. Beautiful, beautiful. Vateru at shikutzeihem, and you saw their shikutzeihem. What is that? That's their abominations in Egypt. Vet giluleihem, their idol. Eitz va'evan, wood and stone. Kesef v'zahav asher imam, their gold and silver. You saw that they worship these idols. Let me read the Rashi. By the way, when I say Rashi, do you know what do you know about Rashi? I assume this but I don't know if you know. What do you know about Rashi? When did he live?
France in 1100 or 1200.
Very good, excellent. First of all, Shkoyach Eli Bear. What time is it? What page is it?
1115.
Okay, page 1115. Rashi was born in 1040 and he died in 1105. He was born in a region of France called Champagne. You ever been there, Noam?
No.
Okay, and he comes from a city in French that's spelled Troyes. In modern France, do you speak French, Noam? In modern French, the S is silent, but in Rashi's time they said it. It was pronounced Troyes. In modern France, they would call it Troy or Troyes. And he studied, however, in the Rhineland. He studied in the yeshiva of Worms and Mainz and Magenza. Those are the three Rhineland yeshivas. You know where the Rhineland is? That's basically on the border of the Alsace-Lorraine region between France and Germany. It kept going back and forth. This was where they had the big invasion. Hello, Tani. I love that, Tani. Love that. This is the big invasion in World War II. They prepared what's it called? Anyway, it's a whole story about World War I and World War II, that region between Germany and France. Anyway, what?
The landing.
Okay, but anyway, I don't want to start talking about World War II history because I'm no expert. I'm just saying that's where Rashi's from. And Rashi is the greatest of all commentaries on the Torah. Without question, he is the father of all commentaries. There have been more than 800 commentaries on Rashi's commentary on the Torah. So that's why I like to study it with you, because every Jew needs to know Chumash with Rashi. This is the book and this is the Rashi. If you want to be a good Jew, this is what you have to know. You have to study it. There's no way to become a good Jew without trying. So that's what you have to do. You have to try. You don't have to master it, but you have to try. So that's what we're going to take into our lives. We study Chumash and Rashi every day. And even though I studied this many, many times, I want you to study it many, many times in your lifetime. You can never study it too many times. If there's more than 800 commentaries on Rashi, that means all the great rabbis throughout our history, they all tried to explain Rashi. Okay, so I'm reading the Rashi to Pasuk Tes Vav and Tes Zayin. Ki atem yadatem v'teru et shukitzem. You saw the nations who worship idols. And maybe one of them, maybe one of you is going to be persuaded to follow them, to follow after the nation. After I have to make you take a note so you don't follow them. By the way, Ellie Bear, there's some pizza in there in the other room if you want. You don't like? You want some? Okay, fine. And you saw their abominations. Al shem sheim ustim kishkatim. Their idols are called abominations because they're disgusting, like revolting creatures. Okay, this is very unpolitically correct. If you go into your class in Jackson Reed, who is Jackson Reed, by the way?
Like the first black school.
Gotcha. They got rid of Wilson and they brought in Jackson Reed.
No.
But it used to be Woodrow Wilson, and they canceled him, and they said we're just going to make black teachers, which are very worthy, obviously, very, very worthy. But what about Wilson? Okay, anyway, I guess people can choose whatever they want. What? Yeah.
Yeah, it's supported their cricket. Yeah, that's not what they told.
They got rid of. You know what I heard about Woodrow Wilson? Maybe you can check this out for me. I heard he had Alzheimer's and his wife was running the country. You heard that too?
Is that a theory?
Pete? Oh, last year they were speaking. What? A stroke? Yeah, had something wrong with him, and his wife was running the country. Kind of like so. Okay. Anyway, okay. So you see these religions, these idols, and you call them disgusting. Today, if you do that, they're going to toss you out of school and probably suspend you. You probably should never do that today, but that's what the Torah says to do about the idols. Geulayim, they're detestable idols. Shem musrachim, they stink. Umusin kigalal, they're disgusting like galal. You know, galal is excrement. You know what excrement is? Exactly, Noam. Eitz va'evan, wood and stone. Osan shall eitzem va'avanim. Those idols made of wood and stone. Ra'isem bigaloy. You saw them in the open. Because they're not afraid they're going to be stolen. But they also have idols of gold and silver, which they keep inside their rooms. Because they're worried they're going to be stolen. Okay, fine. That's what Rashi's saying, because otherwise we don't understand the verse. It says, you saw their abominations, their wood and their stone. Hold on 1 second. Rabbi Yosef wants me to pause this for a second. He's got something controversial. Baruch Hashem. Okay, Baruch Hashem, we go on. Eitz va'evan. Okay. Panyeshba. Okay, Noam. Who read it? Yeah, Noam, Mr. Traumer.
יש בכם איש או אישה או משפחה או שבט אשר לבדו פונה היום מעם השם אלוקינו ללכת לעבוד את אלוקי הגויים.
No, that word you should read as Elohe. Why? Because it's an idol. It's not God. It's an idol. So the gods of the nations, Elohe agoyim ahem. So therefore you read it as Elohe, not Elokei.
אלוקי הגויים ההם יש בכם.
Okay, there's a lot of difficult words here. So that's why we need Rashi. He'll tell us what the difficult words are. So he says, Panyesh bachem, lest there be amongst you an isha isha, a man or a woman, or mishpacha ushevet, a family or a tribe, asher levavo ponayom, whose heart is turning today, me'im Hashem Elokeinu, from Hashem our God, la'alechet lavod et Elohei agoyim ha'im, to go and worship these gods of these other nations. Panyesh bachem shoresh pora rosh v'lana. Lest you have amongst you a shoresh pora rosh v'lana. Let's see what these words are. We don't know what they mean. So panyesh bachem, Rashi says, maybe it means that there's a man amongst you whose heart's turning away. Maybe there's somebody here who doesn't want to accept the covenant. Like maybe you have somebody in your school who says, even though I was born Jewish, I don't want to be part of it. You ever meet anybody, something like that?
Yeah.
Terrible. But not in JDS or the yeshiva, right? In the yeshiva, everybody is religious, right? And in JDS, everybody's religious, right? It's a Jewish school. Yeah. Why would you go there and pay so much money if you don't believe?
Well, no, they believe.
Grab a chumash. But they want to be Jewish. They just don't want to keep the Shabbos perfectly. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But there's nobody there who's like, I hate Jews. No, not doing. Okay, what does this mean? Shoresh pora rosh v'lana. Shoresh migadel, a root that grows, is a bitter herb. What does this mean? A root growing gall and whorehound. You ever hear of a whorehound? Horehound. Look up Google Images. Tell me what you get. Whorehound and gall. But gall actually is related to, if it's like a gall nut, whether there's some pizza, Eitan and Ayal, there's some pizza you can help yourselves in the kitchen. It's a hemlock.
The Yeshiva Street.
Yeah, so a hemlock. So there's the pora rosh is hemlock. So then it is. Grab a chumash, Kobe. What'd you say, Noam?
Nothing. We were just like looking it up.
Yeah, so pora rosh is hemlock. So hemlock is a poisonous. It's a poisonous herb. Who knows who took hemlock and died? Socrates. What?
Plato?
I think it was Socrates. Socrates. He refused to He refused to give up on anything. So Pora Rosh V'Lanar is a root growing hemlock, I guess goal is hemlock, and a whorehound. I don't know, it's another bitter herb. It's to say, he grows and increases wickedness b'kir b'chem. Okay, if you have such a person who says, I don't want to be part of the treaty, this person is increasing the negative energy. You ever have a group dynamic where somebody has negative energy? You ever have something like that? That person is terrible. They need to kick them out of the group because their negative energy is bringing it down. I'm sorry. You say, listen, you deserve to have a chance in the world, but not in this group. You're destroying the group. And if you don't do that, the whole group will go down. Again, this is not probably something that's, but Tani, what's the matter? You disagree or agree?
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know people like that.
Who have negative energy. Never be the negative energy. If you have something negative to say, don't say it. What are you going to accomplish? Just be positive, positive energy. That's why the Lubavitcher Rebbe, he wouldn't even call something, he would never say the word deadline because it had dead in it. He would say the time limit or it's due by this date, due date. You would never say deadline.
And the hospital is beit refuah instead of beit cholim.
Yeah, he never called it the house of the sick, which is, it works better in Hebrew. There's beit cholim, which means the house of the sick, literally, but he would always call it beit refuah, the house of healing. So the Rebbe always said you have to always speak in positive language, always in positive language, and you will something into existence. That's why we're not going to be negative. We're not going to be negative. That's the concept of the Rebbe. Okay. So the next pasuk. Norai. Pasuk Yud Chet. You have the page, Eitan?
Yeah.
Ayal, you have the page?
Yes.
Okay. Who's Ayal? It's your turn next to read. Okay, go on. After Norai. Vaya, Bishamo, go on. Divrei, Ha'Allah Hazot. Allah, what's an Allah? Allah is a oath. So when he hears the words of this oath, or this guy who doesn't want to be part of the group, when he hears this oath, he'll say to himself, go on. Shalom Yaleh. He says, I don't need this. I'll have my own peace. He'll say, I'm going to go and do what my heart wants. Go on. Lema'an. Ha'rava tatzmeya. Okay, these are very hard words, actually, this pasuk. I could read it many times. I want to know what it means. That's why I have to look at Rashi. Itparech bilvavo. Lashon bracha. He thinks in his heart a blessing of peace to himself, saying, these curses won't reach me. I'll have peace. He thinks he's going to be unaffected. Says, I don't need to buy into this. I'll be okay in my life. You know what this reminds me of? My father told me there's a joke. It's not a joke. It's a story. It's obviously not a real story, but it's a very real story. That there's a guy, you ever hear of the Depression?
Yeah.
In the 30s? So what happened it happened because there was a run on the banks. You know that the banks ran out of money. So the Bank of New York, everybody was waiting in line to get their money. So there's a guy who's walking by, and he says, what's going on? Why is there such a long line? So they said there's a run on the bank, so everybody's waiting in line to get their money from the bank. He says, oh, I'm not worried. I have my money in the Uptown branch. He thinks he's not worried. This guy thinks it's not going to affect him. You follow that, Noam? He thinks, but of course it's not. You think if there's all these terrible things that are going on in the world, but I can stay in my house with the door locked and I'll be fine. Visparech, Rashi says, it's like in old French. Do you know French? Noam? Bendira say. What does that mean? Yeah. In modern French, yes, it is. In modern French, it's benir.
Veneer?
Benir.
That's not a word. Veneer?
Benir.
Not veneer.
It means to bless.
Veneers to come.
No, not
That's Benny.
that's venir. This is benir,
Oh, he.
like benediction, bendir. No,
I speak a little.
what?
I don't speak that much French.
Not this word. You didn't know this word. Okay.
Bendir, I do know Spanish. But
Oh, Spanish.
yeah.
You know all these languages, and it's going to be replaced by the AirPod. But, but until then, you'll be way ahead of us. V'shirutli bi elech, b'marotli bi. I go in the vision of my heart, like he's Laman Sefot HaReva, because he says, I shall add on a punishment for him, for that which he had done until now. So Rashi's saying, thereby adding the drunk with the thirsty. That's what the pasuk says. It means to say, God is saying, I'll give him two punishments. Up until now, he was being punished like he was drunk. He was doing it all unintentionally. But now I'm going to punish him like as doing it intentionally. It's a real, I mean, say I'll punish him for both the unintentional and the intentional. So somebody who's like this, harava means shogeg. That's me'ah, means he does it intentionally. So up until now, he was doing it unintentionally, but now he's doing it intentionally. The one who says, I'm not going to serve Hashem because I think it doesn't apply to me, that's the worst one. That God is not going to excuse that. Everybody can make a mistake. Everybody will do a sin. But if a person does intentional sins, that's the one that you're not, that we're not going to get the forgiveness from Hashem. You follow that? Yeah, chas v'shalom, God forbid. Okay, Ayal, you read the next pasuk. We have one last pasuk. Yeah. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so this is a very hard, what? Well, it's a very hard pasuk to translate. We're going to have to approach it tomorrow because these are words that are very hard. It's not that the words, but the meaning to say. But this is a person who's in big trouble. I promise you, this person who says, I don't want any part of God's world, I don't believe in God, I don't want to be part of the Jewish people, that person is in big, big trouble. So anyway, this is what I want to say to everybody, that Baruch Hashem, I don't want to